Becoming Naomi, Chapter 16. A Team of Horses. Finalmente, said Fabiola, as I walked into the kitchen for breakfast. They will not tell us what they decide to carve until you got here. She turned back to the stove to flip a tortilla on what Graham called the black trivet. We wait until everyone is here, said Bernardo. Pedro winked at me. Here's the rest of us, said Graham, with Owen and Reuben right behind her. My carving were all over the table. Bernardo scooped his chair and pulled another chair over so I could sit between him and Pedro. ¿Qué? Said Flora. What? Tell us. Bernardo started talking fast and excited in Spanish, and Pedro nodded. Then Pedro stood up and paced around the kitchen, describing something that and using his hands to express his excitement, waving them around. All this made his big belly dance. Fabiola translated a gigantic branch like a big tree instead of leaves. There will be pigs and birds and fish and crocodiles. The panther lying here and an elephant sleeping there. Little paradise. Little parrots, giraffes and monkeys all together. Pedro sat back down and reached over and hugged my shoulder. And on the top, continued Fabiola, un león, the king of beasts. It will be maravilloso, wonderful. I was definitely going to add maravilloso to the superb Spanish word list. Shh, shh, the neighbors, they could hear, said Pedro, putting his finger on his mustache. People are jealous and could steal our ideas. Naomi, you can come to the market with me or stay and care with these crazy men all day, said Graciela. I knew she was kidding. Aquí, I said, here. Graciela rolled her eyes. Bueno, como quieras. As you wish. She pulled the shade on the back door before she walked out. A few minutes later, Benny arrived. He backed a truck into the yard and unloaded tubs filled with twisted and grained, nutty and contoured red vegetables that didn't resemble any delicate little radish that came from Graham's garden. Graham stood over them with her hands on their hips. I have never seen anything like them in my life. Why, they looked like a giant. Overground jams that went through a pretzel market. I think some of these are as tall as Owen. Bernardo, Pedro, and Benny each dragged a big tub of radish into Flora's kitchen. Owen and Reuben had the job of mixing the radishes with water so they would not dry out. They both took this duty seriously and sat on the floor with their water bottles ready, waiting for the first cuts to be made. Bernardo grinned at me and rubbed his hands together in anticipation. Then he picked up a knife and started to carve. What happened to these radishes after the festival? Asked Graham. After the judging each pot gives away, the dolls and characters in its good luck to have one of them on your table of your Christmas feast. But soon they dried up and must be thrown again away. All that work and they only last a few days, said Graham, shaking her head. But of course, said Bernardo, it is for the joy of participating and for the prize if you win. The men's fingers were nimble and I was amazed they didn't cut themselves. They twist and turn the radishes as if they were on spools, making impressions and often left the radish with a face or a remarkable feature, like an elephant's knee in a naughty world. Outside, the radishes were dark and brownish red, as the men escaped of the layers of skin. They revealed true red, the palest pinks, and in the heart of the radish white. But the white was stained, as if someone had tried to bleach a pink blue, and around the edge of the seams, the faintest trace of rosy colors remained. I watched the men make magic out of vegetables and copied them. The radishes could, like potatoes, only firmer and gave away much easier than soap, which meant I made more mistakes. Benny, Benny said I could cave anything I like. As long as it was an animal, I made little elephants, doves, bears, and squirrels, sticking at first to things I'd cared before. At the end of the day, we covered the radishes with damp towels and set them in coolers. The next day it was the same. We worked for hours, laughing and talking and singing songs in Spanish. I didn't even care that I didn't know what all the words. Fabiola, Graham, and Flora made food and lemonade. And when Owen and Ruben's excitement could not be contained, Graciela took them away to find lucky spiders. On the last day of carving, Benny threw in the radish that looked like a giant bulb. What will do you? What will do you with that? What will you do with that? Sorry, I asked. It is for the crown, the lion. We want to give it. Thank you for your idea. I looked at Pedro and Bernardo and they nodded. I took the radish for Benny, knowing and what is was an honor. I held it up and examined it. The lion could be sitting, facing us, with the front legs straight and resting on this back leg. That way, I could carve the entire man in a giant jagged circle. Yes, I said, Benny, perfecto. I studied the radish again and made a few careful cuts. I escaped a very thin layer on a red in a long line. It curled slightly. Could I get a curly mane of a leon? Leon. Thinking the name reminded me of the tiny thread of hope to which I could. If my father came to the festival, would he see the radish tree full of animals and remember what he carved for us all those years ago? Will I make him happy? Will he like to know what his daughter was a carver too? Today is the day, I whispered to Gram on the night of the radishes, waking her from a sound sleep. I had already dressed in my peasant blues, jeans, and huaraches.